In this video, we're going to look at some software that we can use within the system engineering process, particularly around these requirements sort of elicitation management areas. Now, there's lots of different tools available to us. Here's a few of them, but there's dozens of different tools that could do this sort of thing for us. DOORS is one, so Dynamic Object Oriented Requirement Management System, and IBM heavily involved in this at the moment. And this is one that's very huge, hugely scalable as well, and big in the defense sort of industry. InnoSlate is another, which is a cloud-based one. Jira, made by Atlassian, is a cloud-based agile system that's based around here. Core is another one, and there's many, many more. There's a website there that gives you some requirements management tools and some information about them. But, as I said before, spreadsheets are an option for really small projects, and this is what we actually suggest you do in the assignment. Not go through the whole learning curve of actually learning one of these particular tools, because by the time you get to the subject, you may have just come to grips of how to actually use these tools, rather than actually doing everything else that you need to do in the project. Here's one example of why we need this sort of software, and this was taken from the Seattle Times. And here we have the Boeing 787 and the development program for this aircraft. And we see that looking at this, we had 20,000 CAD models involved, 6 million parts, and a total of over 2,500 suppliers being supplied. And we're talking about 150,000 design changes per year. So when things change, we need to actually document all of that, and it needs to be very clear and concise, and we know why it's changed, what's changed, how it's changed, all those sort of things. And we see for this particular program, we had engineers and designers working across multiple countries and suppliers as well, everything from China and South Korea through Japan, US, UK, Sweden and Canada. And massive project, we're spanning multiple languages, thousands and thousands of requirements, and we need to get it right. Certainly for a project like this, we couldn't use something like a spreadsheet. What we can use, for example, is something like Rational Doors, which is from IBM, and here's a view from Doors which shows our requirements there, and all of those are traceable and have all the attributes and things that we have and would expect. And this is a test view that shows how those things are actually validated and who validated them, and going through all those formal processes to make sure that when we sign off on this thing, we can be confident it's been properly tested and will work. InnoSlate's another one that I mentioned previously, and here we see our requirements and our hierarchy of requirements. We've got requirement 1 and 1.1 and 1.2 and so on. And Jira, another one. These ones are really moving towards being able to be cloud-based, and so you can access them on a cloud, and all your users can remotely access them like this as well. So we've got some real clear benefits of using this sort of software. Firstly, we're looking at traceability between requirements and design elements and validation and testing. If we store all this in the same spot, we can ensure that any changes that are made are reflected, that everyone can see them, and it's traceable, that we see what's changed, why it's changed, how it's changed. And multiple users can also access this, which can be very handy for larger projects, particularly when we've got people working in different countries even, and changes can only be made by key personnel, so we give people access restrictions of what they can change, what they can't change. It also provides a neat database to store everything, all our reports, diagrams, audits, our files, results of our design reviews and things. Everything's stored and everything's managed. And so it'll take care of all our change management and acceptance, that we see when people have ticked off on things, why they've raised objections to things, and everything will be clear and will serve the basis of a really good audit when we're looking at our system forensically at a later stage in time.